Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you had a great week. Today is May 27th, 2022, and this is your pre-Memorial Day weekend Friday planning video. Let's jump right in. I have a few things I want to talk about today. Sunday is May 29th. Now, in addition to being the 106th running of the Indianapolis 500, it is 529 or 529 College Savings Day. Remember, 529 is the tax code for the college savings accounts that came about in 1996 to allow for tax-free growth of money for use in post-secondary education. The law has been amended a few times since then, but one of the biggest plan changes came along with the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. This expanded the plan to cover K through 12 education. These withdrawals are limited to $10,000 per year, and if you're in Illinois or multiple other states, this does not apply. So sorry about that, but check that out before you use it. So as you'll see in the email as well, as well as on the LinkedIn and the Twitter post, I've added the link to the coffee chat that we did a few years ago. If you have any questions about using a 529 for education expenses, check out this 15-minute presentation. If you still have questions, let me know. This is one of the best options for saving for your child's education from a tax standpoint. For most people, please check with your tax advisors for details about how it would help you. It's also, of course, Memorial Day weekend, and although there are many ways people look at this, such as the unofficial start to summer, the Indianapolis 500 weekend, or just a long weekend, the true origin is pretty important, and I want to take a moment to acknowledge it. Memorial Day was first observed following the Civil War to commemorate the sacrifices of the Civil War soldiers. 1873, New York was also the first state to designate it as a legal holiday, and by the late 1800s, many more cities and states recognized the holiday. Not to be left out, Congress finally came around and in 1971 passed the Uniform Monday Holiday Act and established that Memorial Day was to be celebrated on the last Monday of May. There's still separate Memorial Days for special states and regions in place. We'll leave that alone. But this one is what we commemorate on this day. I ask that you join me as we honor those that have given the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Today is a day, if you don't do it any other day of the year, when we should think about how lucky we are to live here in the United States of America. There's plenty that's not perfect about this country, but it is a great place. As Winston Churchill once said, democracy is the worst form of government, except for all the others that have been tried. We thank all those that have served and given their lives for this country, and we especially thank the families that they left behind. Thank you all. Aside from 529 Day and Memorial Day, let's talk about something that is almost everyone is noticing: inflation. I'm not talking about the institutional inflation conversation. I'm talking about what we can all see every day. The cost to fill up our gas tanks in our cars, the cost to feed our families, and if you're looking to buy a house or take any kind of loan, the changes in interest rates and lending rates. As a surprise to no one, the rates in the banks that are paying us to hold our cash in our accounts is much slower to rise. So over the past few weeks, we've talked about some good things to do in a down market. So although I plan to revisit those with you one-on-one and also in future videos, I'll be happy to not have to do that with the opportunity to see what the market brings. But today I want to talk about a few things you can do if you're feeling the pinch from inflation that we're experiencing here in the U.S. I'll just hit on a few of them, so if you want more, please let me know. First, budget basics. If you don't have a budget, now's a good time to make one. If you do have one, maybe it's time to review it and make any necessary changes to it. If the current prices are busting your budget, now would be a good time to review it. Another thing to keep in mind is to stay out of the debt trap. As interest rates rise, those credit card rates are going to go up too, so be careful. As we spoke about gas prices, if you can make slight changes, maybe you can combine your trips so that you're not driving all over every day. You can also be sure that your car is properly maintained. That'll help with gas efficiency. If you can, maybe even get gas at the local warehouse club. We've also spoken about reviewing the waste in your cost. Are you watching all the streaming services you're paying for? I recently read about a guy who reviewed this and called and renegotiated a bunch of his subscriptions, saved a bunch of money on his monthly expenses. The last two for today. First, don't neglect your savings. If you still can, keep putting away money into your savings. It will serve you well over time. And finally, as you'd expect this planning video would end, if and only if it is appropriate, put your money to work for you. We discussed last week so many details about the long-term nature of the market returns. If you can keep your monthly investment plan in place, please do so. If you don't have one, put one in place. And if you're not sure, call me. Let's talk about it. There's a lot we can do as prices go up. Some of them are simple and some of them are not, but many of them are just not easy. So they do take a little bit of attention and even a little bit of work. As always, please stay in touch. Let's review if your current plan includes the cash flow you need and for increased prices. And while we do that, we'll review the allocations and or make sure that they're set and make sure they're still correct. Have a great weekend. The Monday market update will be coming out on Tuesday next week, of course, so watch out for that. The markets and our offices are closed Monday for the holiday. Have a great weekend, and again, honor those who have given everything for our country. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.